The market's actually performing well for this week and moving up, and a lot of positivity being pumped in by the budget is what we can understand. Nifty crossing the 200 days exponential moving average after a long time, along with Bank Nifty as well. So I think it's overall a positive sentiment or a positive week for the market.
Yeah, investors are also happy that there is some sort of relief, some sort of bounce that they saw. But again, we are seeing from the last 2 days, it is again getting sold off a little bit. So while budget was great and amazing, people expected a Nirmala Sitharaman candle 2.0. Even I heard or saw PR Sundar's tweet also that could happen, but nothing of that sort happening. So I still believe there should be some strong trigger, something that should shake the market and take the markets up, but I still see some negativity or some weakness in the market yet still.
So I think that's where we need to get into our interesting stories of the week. A lot has happened in the market, especially the budget. So let's start with that. So introducing all of the hosts here for the 12th episode of the Aftermarket Podcast. My name is Ajay Ajith. This is Nihaal Bandapally.
Hi.
And this is Sharique Samsudheen, CEO and co-founder of MarketFeed.
Hi.
So what's our first interesting story for the week?
Given budget came out this week, I mean, we should talk about that, right? I know in the last podcast, we only talked about should we even care about budget? But then, hey, when it comes out, there are critical points to be talked about as to, hey, we're all investors here and listeners are also obviously investors. So they will be concerned or thinking about which are those sectors which could get benefited from the budget. So we have some points. I think we should talk about that. But before getting into that, there is this 4 themes that Nirmala Sitharaman talked about in the budget. I think, hey, let's quickly talk about that and then get into proceedings.
Yeah, agriculture, MSME, investments and exports. These are the larger 4 themes or pillars with which this budget was announced. And the government said that all of this will be fueled by reforms in the entire bureaucratic system. So these 4 themes, along with these reforms, is what is going to change India over the upcoming years. And I also think after finishing this small section, we should discuss the taxes. We can't run away from it. Personal taxes changing by quite a lot. So yes, let's continue.
So yeah, before that, tell me which sectors are going to get benefited from this budget.
So the first sector that comes to my mind should definitely be infrastructure and industrial manufacturing companies. And think about what is infrastructure. We building India together, and what are the companies that align in this thought or in this theme?
Yeah, they are the most likely to benefit there.
Yeah, there's a lot of mention in the budget, not just this time, even in multiple budgets previously as well, on investment on infrastructure. We want to build India and the infrastructure has to be top notch. And we've been seeing that as well of late. And we've been seeing in previous budgets where there was emphasis on infrastructure, and then all the companies in that space getting benefited is also a theme that we've already seen playing out, right?
Yeah, and the stocks that come to my mind are again Ultratech Cement, because they are industry leader in the cement segment. Then there is Tata Steel that could benefit, Siemens that could benefit, L&T, and there are many more companies that could benefit in this whole theme, right?
Yeah. So I want the audience to understand and take away the themes, not look into these specific stocks. That's not what we want here, but understand the theme, the reasoning behind which these stocks are being discussed here, and try to get into, I don't know, much more nuances, much more in depth of what they can understand, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be the ones to find those gems of stocks that turn into multi-baggers that you can let us know in the comments section down below and share it with all
simply
of us.
understand the supply chain. So who is supplying the raw materials, who is doing the contractors, who is building stuff. So just understand the supply chain and find the pioneers in those industries and just invest there.
Yeah. And the next sector, major sector, again as Sharique said, which has been discussed for multiple years in a row, is renewables and EV resources. So if you're looking at how India is progressing as a country, and for any growing economy, there is a huge need for power.
Yeah.
Right. And energy. So there was a huge emphasis on nuclear energy this year. And it's a fresh thing for India, right? Not many nuclear plants in the country, and also a lot of reforms in the energy sector. And one major thing that people have to notice in the EV sector, there have been a lot of new changes which will benefit lithium ion battery setting up in India. Again, we don't have those resources yet, huge lithium ion resources which India can use yet, but it will be much more easier and cost efficient for you to set up the lithium ion packaging centers in India. So obviously you'll have to look at stocks like Tata Motors and Ola Electric and any energy companies in India. You can even take the Adanis and Ambanis of the country. There are major players in the energy sector, and they will also most likely benefit. That's one of the major themes here.
Another sector which could get really benefited is coming from one of the themes, which is MSME. MSME is nothing but micro, small and medium enterprises. And these are nothing but small businesses which are building India,
Yeah.
the backbone of Indian economy, right? So, which is great. So, budget is talking a lot about strengthening them. And how to strengthen them? Lot of different ways. And one way among multiple ways they're suggesting is giving them more money
Yeah.
to work with, right? So
Yeah.
they're even suggesting collateral free loan limit being increased from 5 crore to 10 crore.
Yeah.
So from all the themes, what I'm looking at is when MSMEs could flourish, if they are to take more loans, who would get benefited?
All the banks.
Banks
And
people who are
financial-
lending money, NBFCs, small finance banks. So that's the thing. That's the sector. So when MSME is just an indicator, and the sector which could get benefited, I feel, is banks and NBFCs and small finance banks, even more especially because these are speaking about micro small businesses in tier 2, 3, 4 towns. So yeah, again, I'm not going into names of the stocks. As we said, it's up to our viewers to go and find them. But hey, this is a theme, a sector which could really get.
And I really want to remind the viewers that, especially in the finance sector, if you're going into companies or banks which are lending primarily non-collateral loans to all of these small MSMEs, there is also a credit risk that we have to acknowledge.
Yeah, there is a risk, but then hey, whichever plays out, the upside could also be really nice.
Yeah.
These small, medium enterprises could also turn out big. They could grow, and the story could also be very nice. So these relationships these small companies they have with their bankers is also very nice. It's very special. That could also evolve over time, and the banks could get the benefit out of that as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I get your point.
Definitely. While talking about evolving and stuff, so there is also one more sector or one more theme which could benefit a lot is the pharma sector as well as the education sector, because in the recent budget also a lot of money is again getting pumped into that sector. So when we look at medical sector also, while government is trying to push, a lot of money would flow into government hospitals, but again subsidiary of that, which sectors or which segment could actually benefit from this is, in my opinion, would be a diagnostic sector.
Okay.
Because establishing a diagnostic center or getting tests done for all the government patients that go into the government hospitals is like very capex high business, right? So they would obviously lean towards a private player who can provide them the diagnostic services. So in that space, for me, maybe Max Health or Vijaya Diagnostics or Dr. Lal Path Labs, all of these companies could again benefit, is what I believe.
Yeah. So again, what I see or I'm understanding from all of your discussions is that there are 3 or 4, even 5, 6 themes that are coming out from this budget, right? And these are the largest themes that we have discussed. There are also smaller themes like cotton manufacturing. There's leather exports being discussed. So a lot of larger or smaller themes as well.
Yeah.
And from these themes, we have to try and understand what stocks or what sectors inside these themes could benefit.
Yeah.
Like you talked about infrastructure, and inside that cement and steel could benefit. And you talked about healthcare and pharma. Inside that particularly, the small theme could benefit, which is diagnostics.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we want the audience to think like.
But
yeah.
again, if anybody is looking for business opportunities, I would say even look into Makhana industry. So government is giving lot of benefits for Bihar and Makhana production and all. So if anybody wants to set up their businesses, I would say look into that sector as
But
well.
I also want listeners of this podcast to listen to the previous podcast where we also spoke about, hey, budget can give you indicative understanding of certain sectors to do good, but then how do you utilize those opportunities is a completely different story in itself. Do you trade it for a short term? Do you do a momentum play? Or are you finding real value picks here to become a long-term investor? It's a completely different beast in itself, but let's not even go there. I think the larger understanding of the budget and the sectors and an educational understanding of how to benefit from it is already done, but we cannot close this story without talking about the elephant in the room, which is nothing but the no tax till 12 lakh rupees. I mean, social media is all about it. Everyone's talking about it. And I know we also have our strong opinions there, but let's quickly talk about that and move ahead.
So there are again reports saying that because of this move, government could take a revenue hit of 1 lakh crore. And
That's
that is
huge.
being discussed a lot. Again, rightly, right? So in the budget that was presented, almost 22% of India's revenue comes from this income tax. So that could come down slightly,
Yeah,
is what
that
I
could
say.
come down. So I think the whole understanding is that if the economy is slowing down, or in order to increase the pace of the economy, of its growth, you have two levers. The government has multiple levers. We have discussed interest rate and forex rate and everything previously. But one of the major levers is government spending. So they're doing this by investing into more sectors, into more industries. They're doing government spending on one side. On the other side, there are also tax cuts, which will boost the personal spending by people. And that's what's happening here,
Yep.
right? So they're decreasing the taxes up to 12 lakh, no taxes, zero taxes in India, 12.75 for salaried.
Yeah.
And that, even with the reduced government income that they'll have, the government is hoping that the economy will be boosted up by so much. Indirect taxes, as we discussed
Exactly.
in the
Yeah.
previous episode, indirect taxes will increase, which will compensate all of the revenue lost from direct taxes.
So the
that
GST
clearly
collection
is-
would increase.
Absolutely. I mean, government is expecting people not to save this extra 1 lakh crore rupees, not to invest it, but for them to spend it somewhere. And
Yeah.
wherever they spend, government is making money via GST. So yeah.
So I think all of the people have read the headlines, 12 lakhs and 12.75, and all the confusions regarding it is what I see is still not cleared. So I think the first major question is that if there is no tax up to 12.75, why are there still tax slabs even at 4 to 8, 8 to 12, and so on?
So the one straight answer I would give is it is only there to help you reduce taxes. That is
Okay.
one straight answer. So you would ask me how. So if you are coming under 12.75 lakhs as a salaried individual, don't even think about why does a percentage exist or why does a tax slabs exist.
Yeah, because with the rebate system that is in place, you'll be anyway ending up paying no tax.
Correct. So, but let us say you're coming under the tax bracket and you have to actually pay the tax. And let us take the top case scenario, which is 25% tax slab. I'm not talking about 30% tax slab because there the taxation calculation is different. So let us take a up to 24 lakhs. If you're falling under, you have to pay 25% of the tax.
Okay.
Now, how would people think? Okay, I am earning up to 24 lakhs. So I fall under 25% tax bracket. So I have to pay 25% of this 24 lakhs, which is coming down to 6 lakh rupees.
Yeah.
But that is not true. So this is where the tax slabs will kick in and actually help you save taxes.
Yeah. So you'll end up paying a smaller tax for that 4 to 8 lakhs of your income. And for 8 to 12 lakhs of your income, you have to pay 10%. So on and so forth, it will be added up one by
Yes.
one.
So the government says whatever the first 4 lakhs that you are earning from this 24 lakhs, I'm not going to tax you.
Yeah.
And then for every 4 lakhs, they have increased 5, 10, 15, 20 and 25. So for each 4 lakh as a slab, they'll charge you this certain percentage. I'll add a table for you all on the screen so that, it is easy for you to understand. And they will add up all of that and give you the tax rate that you have to pay. So effective tax rates will come down drastically, almost by 50% to whatever you are seeing. That is why tax slabs exist.
Yeah. So we have made a detailed video on this as well. So I think everyone can refer to that to try and understand
Yeah.
how to calculate your taxes, what will be the difference compared to last year.
Correct.
And I think that's where we have to discuss one of the elephants in the room, something that's being discussed a lot on social media, which is, so let's say Nihaal is earning 12.75 lakh rupees as his income, and I'm earning 12.76 lakhs as my income. Will I end up paying a lot more tax based on the tax slabs? I'll actually end up paying 66,000 rupees as tax.
Yeah,
How
even
is
on
that fair?
Instagram and Twitter, I've been, people just trying to criticize government. Yeah, so definitely we have to
people
clear
might not
that.
even be falling in that category. A
Yeah,
very
exactly.
small place of earning between 12 or 12.76 lakhs specifically. But hey, people have opinions and they're making a fuss about it. But hey, the point is there is no point to make a fuss about it.
Yeah.
Correct.
So there is something called as a marginal relief concept. And what's interesting is that the same thing was applicable even last year when there was no income tax up to 7.75 lakhs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same question. What if I earned 7.76 instead of 7.75? That was applicable then as well. So there is a marginal relief concept which says that if you're earning slightly more than the no tax level, which is 12.75 lakhs, you can pay what is a difference
Yeah.
that you're earning. So let's say you're earning 12.76. You can pay that extra 1,000 rupees as tax to the government. No need to go through the entire tax slabs and pay that entire 60,000 rupees amount. So with the earlier example, me at 12.76, you at 12.75.
Yeah.
I'll still end up paying tax.
Yeah.
But then I won't be taxed so much as people are thinking. So I think that's a common
You'll
misconception.
only have to pay that marginal, the difference amount of 1,000 rupees as the tax. And again, one thing, you have to pay the 4% cess as
Yeah.
well on that
There's
tax
a
that
slight
you have
difference.
to pay. Yeah.
So I know some people will come and comment out, hey, you forgot about the cess, but there's a 4% cess also. So we've made that easy to use
Yeah, yeah.
calculator. I'll link it even in the description here.
Yeah.
You can come play with it, try out different income levels,
Yeah.
try and see what is the effective taxation rate. Even for surcharges, if you have that, you can try it out in the calculator.
Yeah. But again, before we move to surcharges, I think you should also even clarify till what level does this marginal relief is beneficial. So till where it is there. So
Yeah, till whatever level it is, mathematically logical. So after a point, this marginal relief doesn't help you,
Yeah.
right? There is no point. So till around 13.5 lakhs is where that level is today. And after that, you anyway are paying normal tax. So you're not being taxed extra because of the sudden jerk of taxation kicking in.
So if I'm earning from 12.76 to 13.5, so I have to pay all of that money into taxes anyway, right? So
Yeah.
is there any way that I could save or reduce my taxes?
Yeah, I know it's a very specific tax bracket, but then there is a way. So your employer can start contributing to either EPF or NPS on behalf of you. That is a national pension scheme or the employee provident fund. And up to a certain percentage of your salary, you can claim it as deductions and decrease your taxable income. So I know it's a hack. So money that you would have just lost as taxes to the government, you can save it using this hack. But I guess that's a very small percentage of the population.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People are just discussing it
Yeah.
for the fun of it, I guess.
Yeah. Anyways, the budget overall has a very positive aura to it. I mean, it's looking good. Even though no major relief for people who are earning high. Last budget was good. The highest effective tax rate kind of came down from above 40 to nearly 39, which was good, but nothing of those sorts this year. But overall, I think the budget was nice, and feeling bullish on the economy. But yeah,